Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Happy March the 5th, Thursday, and happy vibes here from Ireland to you. I hope you're well, and I hope you and your loved ones and family are all doing good, sending good vibes. So, in this video I just want to talk about like suffering and sadness and getting through life's like losses and challenges. Like so many of us here on earth are going through difficult times, and there's a lot of like suffering and pain, as well as the happiness and laughter, joy and pleasure and fun too. But some of us all of us more or less at different times go through hard times. And in this video I want to just address like why hard times happen and how we can go through them as sort of easily or gracefully as possible. How we can surf the wave, so to speak, instead of resist it and it crashes against us and smashes us, you know. I've been through my fair share of losses and trauma and hardship starting off from a very young age. And I started my awakening when I was 23, which is like 14 years ago, even though I'm 38 now, so maybe it was 38 and a half, or maybe it's 23 and a half. But I've been through dark times, and I know lots of people who are and have been, and they're still going through stuff too now, you know. And there's different degrees of hard times. There's like super traumatic, down, really struggling, and then there's just like sort of like getting through life, but it's not that, you don't feel like that happy, and it just seems to be a bit of a struggle, but you're not in the depths of despair and agony almost. So this video is going to sort of say, I want to help give hope to people. If it's you or your loved one or friend or family who you might share this with, or yourself, just want to say there's always hope at the end of the tunnel. Like there's hope now and there's light at the end of the tunnel. And as souls we come here, and some of us have already had different lifetimes. Some of us have already experienced like just pure sleepfulness, and we were born here and we die still asleep, as in we just have a very conditioned mind, like the Matrix. It's like our brain is in cement and we can't think outside of the box. We believe what the media told us, what our neighbour said, what the media says, and we basically carry a lot of heaviness and darkness and obscurity, heaviness, grey, cloudiness in our heads, in our hearts, in our body. Pass on at whatever the age is, from whatever the illness, and we basically go to sleep again, to wake up in the spirit world. We go to sleep in denial, you know, like we think it's all their fault, we think we did nothing wrong, we think we're angels, we just caused a lot of hurt and pain, and basically speaking, that's just the way it's meant to be as a soul. And we all have these people probably in our family, be it our parents or our grandparents, or possibly even our siblings, possibly, but usually our parents or grandparents are further down the line, because we're coming out of an age of deeper heaviness and darkness to more light, and this is a time of awakening. And I thought it'd be good to make this video in the light, actually, because the light is shining and it's growing, and more people in the world are waking up. And when I say waking up, what I mean is it's a combination of two main things. Like, what is awakening? It's awakening from the dream world of constant thoughts and ideas and images and videos playing in your head, of basically usually how gloomy the future will be, hopeless and bad, how anxiety and fear are within our hearts. And it's how we're the victim of and the past was so wrong and terrible to us, and we're so unlucky, and the world is a bad place, and the universe, like, you know, just negative thinking. And it's also, sleepfulness is also disempowered, and it's also another word for basically blaming other people all the time. It's like their faults, and we're just a victim again. It's their fault, they're to blame. So all this is the epitome of being asleep, which is just one word. Like it's not the be all and end all only word. You could use 1,000 different words in 1,000 different languages. You can use different words in English. It could be just like unconscious, and all asleep, unaware, or like unconscious. It's generally a spectrum, you know, 1 to 1,000, whatever number you want to use. So it's not like somebody's totally awake or totally asleep. We all have different pathways and avenues of being more awake or alert or understanding. For example, a person can be really good with children sometimes, you know. But to be honest, generally speaking, like when someone's really asleep, you know they're really asleep. Like, it's pretty obvious. But everyone has a good part, is what I'm trying to say. Like, humans are good at heart, and being asleep is not who we are. It's just being programmed and traumatized and never having an opportunity to heal. And that's okay. It is what it is. And sometimes we need to protect ourselves from these people and take space. The more asleep along the spectrum we are, but the more awake along the spectrum we are, the more heart opened we are, and the more empowered we are. Then we tune into stuff like forgiveness, compassion, love, forgiveness and compassion towards these people and towards ourselves. If it's us and we're awakening out of our negative behaviors and patterns, then we have forgiveness, compassion and love towards ourselves. So it's not like this is who any of us are, but the more we become healed and aware of our thoughts, the more we're able to be with people like this from a place of compassion, love and understanding. And we know it's not who they are, it's not who we were in the past either when we were asleep. It's just we're just like recipients of programming and trauma from the world. And Earth is full of like light and dark. And the dark inflicts or imbues a lot of programming and cementing of our brain, where we think it's this way, the only way. Like, you have to sit here, you have to speak this way, otherwise it's disrespectful. There's a whole lot of laws and rules like in our mind, programming. If they do that, they're bad. How dare you do this? How dare you speak that way? How dare you do that? You can't, like, if you're an adult, you can't sit on the ground. Only children and cats can sit on the ground. You can't, like, you can't just sit somewhere like in the park. You have to sit on the bench. Like, you have to do all these like specific things, like to fit to it's like you're not free. You got to live by the rules of society. And of course, I'm not saying like break all the rules and be reckless and mean. I'm saying be heart-centered and wise and read the moment, and don't be just crazy or ridiculous, but care and consider other people. But at the same time, like, you can't be an absolute slave to the programming of society, especially when they don't make any sense. Like, you know, like if you're a man, you have to be clean shaven, maybe in the West, or even though in the East many people may have beards. Like, it's just, there's all sorts of contradictories, and there's no one specific rule. So that's an example of sleepfulness and programming. And then the trauma comes when we're like hurt as children and as teenagers, and especially as children. You know, there's the bullying going on, there's parents shouting at us, there's like emotional abandonment, there's rejection, there's like giving out or scolding a child if they're having a tantrum, leaving them alone emotionally. There's all sorts of ways that we suffer trauma in the world. There could be an abusive parent, an alcoholic, physically abusive. There could be bullying and suppression, control going on from one of your parents. There's all sorts of stuff. You could have like a lack of health, a passed on loved one that you never got to emotionally digest and understand and process. There's all sorts of ways we carry emotion and baggage and heaviness. And then there's the baggage and heaviness from the mental programming from the media, like fear-based. It teaches a whole lot of lies and a lot of misinformation, and doesn't share the truth of who we are as a divine human being. And it doesn't teach us like virtues in school. Typical school doesn't teach virtues, although a lot of the modern like alternative schools do, like Montessori, Waldorf, Rosio Emilio, or I forget the name. But the point is, like, so some souls come here and they wake up, they die asleep. It could be dying 50 from whatever the thing is, or 60 or 70 or 80 or 90. And then other souls like myself and yourself, we're like waking up even as teenagers, in our early 20s, in our mid 20s, in our 30s, 40s or 50s. And anytime you wake up, it's beautiful, and it's a process, and it's only the beginning. And what you can do to raise your vibration, everyone, if you're down, sad, depressed, lonely, sick, because I was physically unwell as well as experiencing emotional rejection, abandonment, and other stuff. But nature is a healer. Positive, uplifting music, going for a walk, getting sunshine, looking after your body temple, having water therapy such as baths and showers, getting a shower filter, a bath filter, using clean water, drinking clean water instead of the tap water, Eating more raw and living foods like fruits and vegetables. Eating more simply is another level as well. Eating more simply. Don't have like 50 ingredients in a recipe, even 20. Have like, let's say, 1 or 2 or 3. Like nature, like the 80-10-10 diet. Like natural hygiene, as they call it. Like check out Lauren Lockman or Dr. Morris or Eli Martyr or Orville Douglas. Exercising is improving to help depression and feeling low, as is sunlight on your skin, as I'm getting right now. Affirmations, meditation, getting out and walking in the park or in a mountain, or touching an animal like dog or pet therapy. Listening to uplifting music, like I said, like Snatam, Kaur. Check out my playlist down below. I'll put it there for you. It's music to raise your vibration, uplift you, and dispel negativity. Breathing. Doing Qigong, it's so easy to learn. Going for a walk on the beach, going for a swim in the sea possibly. Like getting a real fire and like sitting in front of the fire, like in your home. I love this. Or if you're in nature, you can light a little fire safely and be in front of a fire. For me, that's very therapeutic too. Drinking enough water and liquids. Having some herbs or superfoods and enzymes. You can check out my Higher Self Herb store below with all of these. And have a look and see what you can get there. There's like 15% discount sometimes, or a 10% discount. Just use the code OneLove1Family for 10% off right now, okay? One love, LOVE, one family. One love, one family. Making friends and reaching out and asking for people's phone numbers, or asking if you're somebody you really like, ask them would like to go for a walk, or like play tennis with you, or go dancing, or do yoga, or whatever you like. Whatever they like. Play chess, or whatever you want to do. Play a game, or go for a run, or go for a walk up the mountains or in the forest. These are all ways you can raise your vibration and raise your frequency and let go of heaviness. Definitely have a good cry. And one of the most important things to do is feel your emotions. Now, another thing that's critical is sometimes some people use plant medicine, like ayahuasca or magic mushrooms or San Pedro. But one thing that's like very, 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 very potent and pivotal, no matter what you do, you have to reflect on your life every single day. Look at yourself, look at your behavior, look at your actions, look at your reactions, look at your patterns, look at what you're doing, look at what you're not doing. See your mistakes, look at your mistakes and learn from your mistakes. This is the most important thing you can do. Look and learn from your mistakes. This is the most important, my friends. See how things can be different. Be optimistic, think positive, be kind. And when you do forgiveness and compassion and aim to open your heart, kindness will come. So compassion, forgiveness. And of course, listening to YouTube videos like this and other ones that help. And nice music like meditations as well. Like I said, there's also nice meditations that you can put on the background. And then also books and places and people that are uplifting and positive and like-minded. You need a support system around you. You can't just wake up and do it all alone for too long, although I kind of did, and didn't really have too many people properly outside, if you know what I'm saying, except for maybe my mum who's awakening too at the same time. But other than that, it's always nice to have like people to talk to, be friends with, and collaborate with, and just share together and help each other out and listen and talk and bounce off each other in real life, not just in the internet. So that's always another really good and happy and fun and pleasurable tip. So like-minded people, uplifting places, could be your favorite good cafe or yoga studio or Tai Chi in the park, nice groups, like join a group, etc., that type of thing also. So whatever you want, whatever you vibe with, everyone's different, so there's no right or wrong. Have a lovely day. Everyone, near the end of this video, so check out my links below. Lovely to connect with you. Thank you for watching. Befriend me on Facebook and Instagram. Check out my Higher Self Herb store for personal coaching or relationship coaching. Just check it below. Send me a link. Leave your questions and comments, and please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Lots of love, compassion, and forgiveness.